2004 Ford F-350 Super Duty 4-wheel drive. We're gonna do some fucking ball joints. What the fuck did I get myself into? Alright, first things first, your tie rod here. It's gonna be a cotter pin. Get yourself a pair of side cutters and just pull that out. Now go ahead and grab a 13/16 and take your nut off. Next, go ahead and get yourself one of these smacking tools or a hammer. Give it a couple whacks. Stick a pry bar up underneath. You want to get this tie rod out of the fucking hub so you can spin the hub freely. I need two hands, so I'm going to turn this off. Now that we have the tie rod end off, your whole hub should spin freely by hand. Now that you got everything freed up, you're going to take out two caliper bolts. Get yourself a 21 millimeter. I believe it's a 21 millimeter socket. You're going to take out this bolt here and one on the bottom. Go ahead and take those bolts out. I already loosened them up. You're going to take your caliper and we're just going to set it off onto the leaf spring. You do not want it hanging from its brake hose. Okay, so now we're going to take out the outer hub. First you got to take out the four-wheel drive lock hub. Inside here you're going to find this snap clip in here. Just grab it with a pair of pliers, squeeze, and it should come right out. I already took it off though. Now most of the time you're going to take these bolts off here to get the front part of the hub off so you can get the lock hub out. But I found that once you get the ring out, if you take a screwdriver on top and pry bar on the bottom, wiggle it around a little bit, that you can get it out through there. There you go, you got your whole lock hub assembly right here. Set that off to the side. Inside you are going to have a snap ring back there. You'll want to go ahead, take your snap ring out. I've already pulled it halfway out because it's a motherfucker to get to in the first fucking place. Okay, we're going to pull that out and then I'll show you what else is in there. Okay, now inside after that snap ring's off, go ahead and get yourself a magnet. You're going to want to pull these out. You're going to have a series of washers. Okay? There's a round one, your hexagon one, and there's one more back there. Go ahead and pull those out. Make sure you keep them all in order so they go back the same exact way that you took them out. Now this is where an impact gun, a socket, and an extension is going to come in handy. These bolts right here have to come off so you can get the front of the hub off and your rotor. You're going to put your 13/16 socket on there, put an extension through there with an impact gun. If you don't have an impact gun, you're going to want to do this before you pull the hub off. Lock the hub and take those nuts off. Okay, so next up you have 8 bolts back here. You're going to want to take your 21 millimeter socket, slip it on there, nice short stubby one, 1/2 inch. Take an extension, stick it through there. Stick it through the hole there, attach to your Milwaukee impact gun. Give it a zap, and presto, your nuts come off, your socket comes out. Now that you got all your bolts off, your nuts off, you want to go ahead and grab your good old smacking tool again, or your hammer. Give it a good whack a couple times, and just pull this bad boy off. And go ahead, slide your rotor off. Okay, so now that we got the rotor off, you want to grab a 5/16. You're going to go to your ABS wire. And go ahead and take this nut I'm sorry, this little bolt out right here. To hold your ABS line, we'll go ahead and put that off to the side. Now right here, you're going to want to take this flap, bend it up a little bit, and we will grab a, what is this here, 3/16 Allen wrench. We'll break that free. Seems to be coming out pretty easy. Alright. Take that out, we'll put that off to the side. And give this a little wiggle, your ABS. They're never that loose. I think I may have just got lucky. Actually, that's probably why the ABS light's on. It appears to be broken. We're just going to feed this up through here. Get it out of the way. We'll pull it up out of here. We'll get it out of the way. And then we'll go ahead and we'll pull the rest of the hub off. Now on the back of the spindle, there's going to be 4 nuts in there that you have to remove. One up top, one on the bottom on each side. Go ahead, put your 21 millimeter on there. See if I can get my gun in here. Probably not. Let me get a smaller extension and we'll get that out of there. Okay, we got a smaller extension here. Go ahead and not get it out of there. Okay, we got that nut off. Now we're going to go ahead and start taking the spindle off. Okay, so if you're going to be reusing your wheel bearing and everything, always get a chisel, stick it in there so you can smack the chisel and split that wheel bearing. Okay, now that we got our spindle in, our chisel in there and split the bearing from the spindle, we can pull it out with the backing plate. And you're going to have the axle just sitting inside there. Okay, so on the back of the axle, you're going to want to grab a brass hammer and smack the U-joint so you can wiggle the shaft, pull your axle straight out. Go ahead and pull it out all the way and set it off to the side. Now go ahead and get yourself I believe this is a 36 millimeter socket. And take the top nut off. You can do that one with an impact gun. Alright. Now on the bottom here, so it's going to be a 36, but you're going to have to get that one with a ratchet. Alright, we got the top nut off. Now to get the bottom nut off, 36 millimeter socket. And trust me, you are going to need some heat and some PB blaster. I've already loosened this up. Here, go ahead. Take that off. Throw it off to the side because you got a new one. Now take your hammer. Give it a couple whacks. And because you're not reusing your ball joint, you can smack the threads. Just don't mushroom it so it comes out. It's going to take a little bit of beating to get it off. As soon as you get it off, I'll show you how to press it out and press in a new one. Okay, so after a good couple whacks, the spindle fell out. Sorry for the mess on my bench here. But I'll point something out to you. You're going to have 2 ball joints, one lower, one upper. The upper is not going to have a snap ring, it is just pressed in. The bottom one here has a snap ring right here. You're going to go ahead and take the snap ring out, and then I'll show you how to press it out from there. Okay, now this here is a ball joint press. You can pretty much rent them from any part store. You just buy it and then return it, and they give you back your money. You're going to go ahead, put your ball joint press on, put an impact gun on it, and zip the ball joint right out. Let me show you how that's done. If you don't have an impact gun, make sure you put it in a vise. Okay, now that you have your ball joint pressed on, go ahead and throw your impact gun on, pull the trigger, and the ball joint should come right out. I'm sorry the camera shut off, but here's basically what it's going to look like afterwards. The ball joint should just come right out. Set that one off to the side. Now this one is going to be the same thing, only no snap ring. Okay, we got the other ball joint set up now. We're going to pull the trigger and push it out. And it's out. Now your ball joint should just end up inside this little cup here. And now just put your ball joints in the same exact way you took them out. Put this one in first, then the bigger one. Now to put your ball joints in, you're going to start by just putting them in as far as you can by hand. Now the ball joint kit comes with all these cups. You're going to want the correct size cup to go on the ball joint to push it in. Okay? So find yourself the right size cup before you even start. That looks like a good one. Alright. So we got the bottom ball joint in. The bottom ball joint gets a snap ring. The top ball joint does not. The top ball joint also doesn't get a grease fitting. Just keep the plug in there. Bottom ball joint, we got to put a grease fitting in there. Okay, now just put it together the same exact way you took it apart, and you shouldn't have a problem. Your ball joint kit should have instructions on how to press ball joints in and press ball joints out. Another thing, I live up north. We use salt in the winter. Salt corrodes things, rusts things. I made this video look pretty damn easy because I already loosened up half the bolts for you. If you live up north, anywhere that uses salt in the wintertime or any other chemicals, you can expect to spend about 4 hours on each side. So set aside about 6 to 8 hours to do both sides of your truck. Have fun.